And as Tinley put on that show of strength, Joanne Ernst exited the transition area, and Diana Nyad was there.
That was Joanne Ernst going out of here with a big cheer. She's 4 minutes behind Julie Moss. Now, 3 years ago, Julie Moss was in the same position in first place, and I'm sure many of you remember the footage. She came crawling to the finish line and lost. She's out there in the lead, but she knows she has a very fine marathoner behind her, and now the mental side of this Ironman becomes paramount.
Joanne Ernst, content earlier to sit in second, was content no longer.
Ernst took long, powerful strides, honing down her prey. But it was common knowledge that Ernst had suffered chronic hamstring problems, limiting her to an average running schedule of a scant 16 miles per week. Julie relinquished the lead. She had to, but she didn't fade, desperately trying not to let the gap widen. Julie Moss could only hope now for a flare-up of those hamstrings somewhere down the road. And a marathoner named Liz Bullman was on both their minds. 5 miles from the end, Joanne Ernst's troubles were compounding. She was walking quite a bit, but her attitude seemed to be, whatever it takes, I'll get there. Go forward, the best I can. She had said before the race that she had come to terms with the notion of self-respect, that she would never forgive herself if she didn't give it everything she had. The clock was ticking down for Joanne Ernst. Despite all her problems, she amazingly was threatening the Ironman women's record. Only a scant 1.5 minutes behind, Liz Bullman was valiantly pressing, even though time had evidently run out on her for the victory. It looked like it was finally in the bag for Ernst, but she just had to look back that one more time. Bullman lost her good-natured smile for the first time. And there was only one thing in the world that could inspire those aching legs of Ernst to temporarily zap back to life. And that one thing appeared like an angel before her eyes, the tape.
Joanne Ernst would fail only in setting that new record. If she had stopped one less time, she may have had it. But she had raced within a strategy and never deviated. She had raced within a world of pain. She had challenged the Ironman and won. She missed that record by only 9 seconds. 1 minute 33 seconds later, it was Liz Bullman's turn. As she crossed the line, she looked like she could have kept on going. The two faces truly lied. It was difficult, really, to tell who the winner was.
As these two cyclists make their way to the transition area, they may want to slow down, maybe start stretching out their legs, getting themselves prepared for the run. It could be costly, however, because they don't want to lose any time. What do you think of that decision?
That's true. They just have to slow down a little bit here. You see a lot of people there, race director leading them in, but they won't be slowing too much. Obviously, every second counts right now. There's a lot on the line here today. You see they've got hay bales there. They were brought in by the Jockey Club just for this, so there's no accidents. There you see Mike Pigg now in transition. He has to put his own bike into the rack, as you can see, and he'll be getting into his running shoes, and off he'll go on the 12-kilometer course.
These athletes obviously wanting a very good transition time. There's Mark Allen, who's already out. Mike Pigg in hot pursuit. He's putting on his shirt as he runs.
And here comes Kirsten Hansen, the first lady. She's going to be off the bike and onto the run. She's got 12 kilometres ahead of her, but she'll be worried right now. She wants to know where the Pontouse twins are. I'm sure she's worried about them. And also Linda Buchanan, who's in the field today. Linda Buchanan was triathlete of the year last year. She's a very fast runner. It may be in the first few kilometres she'll be asking passers-by exactly where those ladies are, but there she is, a fairly quick transition. She's moving out now, taking off onto the 12-kilometre course.
Mark Allen less than a half a kilometer away from the finish line. He's got the applause behind him, he's got the crowd in front of him, and he can see that finish line. He's got to feel very good about this race. He's had an excellent swim, a fine cycle. You can't forget about that battle between he and Mike Pigg. and of course, he ran away with it here on the running portion of the race.
And it looks like he's going to add the 1987 Vancouver International Triathlon to his long list of victories already this year. He's won USTS races in Georgia, Baltimore, and he won in Avignon in France, and just recently the President's Triathlon in Dallas, Texas.
And of course, you can't forget the tremendous battle we had here this afternoon among the women, Karen Rainey and Kirsten Hansen. Rainey a full 2 minutes and 50 seconds behind Kirsten in the second transition, but of course, she made it and she pulled out ahead and is now well out in front of Kirsten Hansen, and she's got to be eyeing that finish line pretty quickly.
Sure has, but here is a man who's going to take it all today, Mark Allen. Very dominant on the run. He's pulled out a lot of ground ahead of Mike Pigg, but Pigg's holding in there, still in second place and well clear of the third bunch.
You know, Steve, we've heard about the big four: Mark Allen, Scott Tinley, Scott Molina, Dave Scott. We haven't heard too much from the other three, but this man is well worthy of that big four title.
Absolutely. He's the dominant figure in short course triathlons right now, and he's the man who has done 8:37 for a full Ironman course when he came second to Dave Scott last year.
Here he is, the last run, coming down the tunnel. The fans there applauding, feeling very good about seeing this man cross the finish line. Mark is an unassuming kind of guy, very friendly, and a very good ambassador of this sport.
And don't forget, he was 9th out of the swim with a time of 23:22, 40 seconds behind the first man, David Kirk. He's coming up now just a few meters away from hitting that finish line.
And here we are, we're going to see Mark Allen, the winner of the 1987 Federal Express Vancouver International Triathlon.
And Mark Allen's official finishing time, 1 hour, 54 minutes and 21 seconds. A fantastic time, but here comes our second place man, Mike Pigg, the man who's really pushed Allen all the way. He's had a really good run too. He'll be very pleased with this one. It'll be interesting to see what his time is. He's really not too far behind. Here he is, just about to take second place.
Back at the finish line at the Vancouver International Triathlon.
And coming in to take second place in the ladies is Kirsten Hansen, who finishes with a time of 2:11.14, 1:07 behind our winner.
Mike Pigg, though, begins to lose his cool.
Where is six? Over there. He's pointing to it. Move. Move. Right here. Right here. Hey! Molina, right here. Number 3, man. Number 3. That's Molina. Right here. My side, Scott. My side. Molina. 50 on the end. Oh, God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab your back to your spot, guys. Which way out, Charlie?
Dave Scott and Scott Tinley know by now that this is not going to be their championship. Before the race started, Hansen had said she'd have to have a really big lead on the bike. She was doing just that. Hammering the opposition, she was first to the transition area, followed by Cannon and Baker. Cannon looked dangerous, but could she close the gap on Hansen before the killer hill to the finish? So as the women leave the transition area, we're back with the men. And Brooks Clark now has a problem. He's being hunted and his pursuer is closing steadily. This man, Mark Allen, now in his shadow and bearing down. And Mark Allen's face says everything. He's absolutely determined to win Bermuda. The months of training, pain and exhaustion are now paying dividends. He's paced himself perfectly. He stalks Clark, and then the greatest triathlete in the world takes his prey. Now it's Allen, Clark and Pigg. Clark's beginning to fade fast, and now he's got another problem. Mike Pigg appears in his shadow. And behind him, and hanging on really bravely, the 15-year-old Lance Armstrong. It's now mid-morning in Bermuda. The sun's high in the sky. The men and the women battle it out. Hansen leads the women. Baker's third. And Colleen Cannon's up in second place.
A great reception here for the winner. Mark Allen, after nearly 2 hours, the greatest triathlete in the world. What a tremendous performance by the man who's unbeaten this year. He had a tremendous run. The man they call the Zen Master, and how fitting it is. The first event here in Bermuda, the first International Triathlete Championships, that Mark Allen, the world's #1, should be the winner.
And in second place, 1.5 minutes behind, an exhausted Mike Pigg. His time, 1:50.18. A 1-2-3 for America. Brooks Clark third in 1:51.36.
The First Lady home, and it's Kirsten Hansen, tremendous athlete. She's taken this sport up full time, lethal on the bike, and Kirsten Hansen wins the women's title here.
Because this is Julie Moss in second place, and she doesn't seem to like those shoes. Back to the spare pair, and they seem to fit a little bit better. Julie Moss, by the way, this December will marry Mark Allen, and they're aiming for a double today. Little unsure which way to go there, but that's the way, Julie. Julie Moss still running, and she's in fact gaining now on Mandy Dean. The question is, will it be quick enough? Over 2 hours have passed by as Mandy Dean comes home, the best of the women.
Coming up, Julie Moss of America.
And then the chase behind, Julie Moss of the United States, Mark Allen's fiancée. She comes home in second place.